Hey guys, it's Roxy back with Paperless Student. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about Margin 3. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe if you're looking for a solution to go paperless with your studies or your business. And if you're already subscribed, make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when I release a new video. An exciting update just rolled out to Margin 3. I am going to talk about this first because I'm very excited about it. The application now supports video files. Say what? The feature is fairly new, so it comes with its own limitations, but it is a very promising feature. You can only add the video files to the application from the homepage. And you can also have the videos in your flashcards, which is very useful, especially when revising. And I can't wait to abuse this feature. However, you can't add videos to your notes as yet, or to your mind maps or your outlines. And I hope that this is something they're working on, because this would be a huge game changer. Learning can't get any more convenient than that, honestly. Now back to the homepage. The homepage of the application contains different sections for different kinds of files you can create or have in the application. You can have documents, study notes, or review, which contains flashcards here on the left. In the document section, you can either have categories or folders. Personally, I prefer categories over folders because I only have one type of document for each subject. I have experimented with folders though, but I don't really need that level of organization. Essentially though, you can have folders within folders within folders within folders for your documents, and a lot of people seem to like that. So yeah, your documents would be PDF files that you import into the application. So if you have a PDF file from another application or a textbook that you bring into the application, it goes under your documents. So I just want to clarify that this application not only supports PDF files, but they also support EPUB books. In this video, I will be only talking about PDFs because those are the ones that I personally use, but you can actually have EPUB books in this application. The study section contains notebooks that you create in the application. Each time you are studying and want to create a mind map or outline from your textbook, the application automatically creates a notebook for you, and you can then organize these according to categories. Unfortunately for your study, you can only organize them as categories. Under your review, you have flashcards that you also organize in the same way, just categories, no folders. So just remember that your documents, when you import them, you can have folders within folders, but when you're creating your notes and your review flashcards, you can only use categories and you don't have folders within folders. This might be important for some of you guys. So I've already done a video on how I create flashcards, and I think in that video I covered almost everything that you need to know about flashcards. So make sure you check out that video if you want to understand and appreciate everything about flashcards. In this video, I will be trying to talk about stuff that I've not already mentioned in the previous 2 videos that I've done on this application, so that I don't repeat the same information, and to keep this video as short as possible for you guys. And I will link all of these videos in the description down below. On the homepage, you can select your files, then you are allowed to delete the files or edit the categories that they're in. And you can also move files to different folders. This is the workspace and study area in Margin 3. So the application has several layers and sections that you need to understand to fully appreciate what the application can do for you. To my right, I have all the textbooks and PDFs that I'm using for this study session, and I can easily adjust the size using these two arrows. Just tap and hold and pull on either side. Pull it to the left to enlarge it, or to the right to make it smaller. This window is superimposed onto this mind map canvas. And so tapping the right arrow on this window minimizes it, and tapping the left arrow opens up the window. Then there's this canvas that contains the mind map. This part is constant, though it can be completely covered by either your textbooks or your outline. So to bring up the outline window, tap on this icon. The outline is just a different layout of the same exact information on your mind map canvas. If you are not a big fan of mind mapping and you don't really understand it, you can use the outline format instead. You can expand the outline to completely cover the canvas, that just like you can with your textbooks, and the outline and textbooks can also be both active at the same time, and you can split view in any ratio you want. Literally, you could go 35-65. The split view in the application is very, very flexible, and it's as flexible as you need it to be. Personally, I find it easier to use mind maps than it is to use outlines when I'm creating my notes, because I find mind maps gives me an idea of exactly what I'm studying and how each concept is connected to other concepts on the same topic. So I will just close the outline and we will be focusing on the mind map. Let's go through the tools that you have in the application. The first hand tool deactivates your Apple Pencil if you just want to scroll through your notes or through your textbooks with your Apple Pencil. So for those of you that don't like having fingerprints on your screen and you don't like the look of fingerprints on your screen, this can be quite useful. The application has excerpts and annotation tools. I hate that word, excerpts. I can't pronounce it. Anyway, I'll just call it an extraction tool, because that's what it does. It helps you extract information from your textbooks, and that includes a text highlighter or underline, and also a selecting tool. So before I start studying, I like to go through some settings, and I turn on this option to automatically add extractions or excerpts to my mind map. If you do not turn this on, you will have to manually add your extractions into the mind map, which would mean an extra step in my study. And for me, everything I highlight and everything I'm selecting is supposed to go to my mind map, so it's just easier for me to just have it selected. If you choose to manually add information to your mind map, then this is where you'll find your extractions. Next, you select how you want your mind map created. Do you want your extractions grouped according to table of contents or according to documents, or you want them to be free? My study approach requires me to select the last option because I study from multiple resources at the same time, and it's important that I group relevant information from different textbooks together. Emphasize work for your mind maps and for outlines as well. If there are any selections that you want to emphasize, just select this and you go through your whole document emphasizing parts of your notes. And so when you emphasize on something, it becomes bold, and it's also very handy when creating flashcards later on, because all your emphasized sections become questions that you can ask yourself in your flashcards. So that saves you some time. You're already studying but also working on your flashcards without putting much effort. You can automatically add your extractions to a card deck. I turn this option off. I prefer creating my card decks at once after I have finished studying a topic, not while I'm studying. If you do decide to add your selections or whatever you're highlighting and your extractions to a card deck, you can get to choose which card deck you want to add it to, which is neat. And you can also create a new card deck for your new topic that you're studying. The OCR for this application is impressive. I'm flabbergasted. Seriously, I'm like, what? It's great that this application has OCR capabilities. For those of you guys that don't already know, OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition or Optical Character Reader. Typically, you wouldn't be able to edit anything on your scanned documents, but this is gradually becoming a thing of the past. With this technology, I can now edit my notes on scanned documents. Very helpful, especially for my current rotation, because all my notes are scanned copies. So I have so many scanned copies, and before I would have to resort to annotating on them, but couldn't really do much with the text because it was fixed on the page and you couldn't get it out or edit it or do anything to it. But that is changing, folks. The last option here says always correct exempt text through OCR. I don't know what this is about. If you do, please let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I will just do a video for it once I figure it out. The reason why I don't understand this is because I can already edit my sections through OCR capabilities. I can already edit that without turning this option on. I can still do it with it turned off, so I'm not really sure what this is talking about. Back to our tools now. We have the underline or highlighter. When you underline something, you can change its color. You can choose to make it a highlight or an underline. You can tag your notes. This I absolutely don't get. I don't see how useful this is. Is anyone using this hashtag feature? I would like to know. How do you use it? I can have the application read out loud to me.
All disorders of the kidney may cause hypertension.
I can also add the section to a card deck if you're one of those individuals who want more control on how you create your card decks. Then you'll probably want to add a card deck every time you select something. Yeah, it's a waste of time. You could just do it all at the end after you finish studying a topic. You can delete it if it was a mistake, and you can export that section. It's taking a ridiculously long time to process for such a small file. So this export feature didn't work with Notability or Kindle. The Apple Notes made a link to MarginNote 3. Adding to Things 3 and copying text was not a problem. I guess with Notability and MarginNote, it is a question of compatibility. At least Kindle has the decency to let me know. Notability just keeps working on it like it has everything figured out until I lost my patience and I quit trying. Research, a very useful feature for studying. With some applications, you have to quit the application to go to Safari or to another web browser for you to research something. Sometimes I just use my phone, and before you know it, I'm on Instagram, I'm checking my Facebook, I'm on YouTube. How unproductive. MarginNote 3 solved that problem amicably to make sure that once you're in MarginNote 3, you don't get out or get distracted for any reason or in any way. So most applications have an inbuilt browser, but in most cases you have to leave your working space, which is why I end up using my phone, because I want to research but still be able to see my notes. You get what I mean, right? But MarginNote 3 is excellent. Forget the lag which comes with the application, which I hope they fix, but the features packed in this application, it is value for your money. No joke. This feature allows me to research what I'm studying without leaving the application and without closing my notes. How cool is that? I can move it around, put it where it's convenient. And if you prefer to browse from a bigger window, or you want to cover your notes, by all means, knock yourself out. Just expand the window and voila, your problems are solved. When searching for a topic, you can search Google, Wiki, Scholar, Quora, Photos. You can translate sections directly from the app, and specifically search for PDF files. You can download web pages or export them. Then you can lock your search. This feature you definitely want to appreciate. The locking feature means that you can tap anything on your mind map and your search window remains unchanged. If you guys remember the last video when I was studying, I had trouble with this because every time I'm searching for something and then I want to go back to another note, it would automatically start searching. Those were the days of ignorance. Yes. Lastly, for your search, you have settings. You can choose your search engines for different search categories that you are offered in the search window. I like the default settings. I think they're pretty decent. Don't you agree? Next, we have the selection tool. The application has a fixed selecting tool and a flexible one. I mostly use these for tables and diagrams that I want in my notes. Both have the same options that we just went through right now for the highlighter or underline. We don't have to go through that again. Next, we have annotation tools. These are the tools you use to annotate your PDFs. When using these tools, you are simply annotating without creating extractions. And so personally, I use this tool for self-help books. My Kindle works for the same thing as well, but my Kindle works mostly for books that I purchase on Amazon. But if my books are from other sources, then I use Marginote 3 for this. And so in this mode, this is a completely different study mode, which focuses on one PDF file. Other study modes that I told you about, it focuses on creating mind maps and outlines from multiple PDF sources. This mode only focuses on one PDF at a time. It has my PDF book on the left and my notes on the right. The writing tool has a few options. You have to double tap to open up the options. You can choose to draw straight lines. You can annotate by writing in the margins of the PDF. For that, you have a ballpoint and you also have a fountain pen. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the fountain pen. You also have colors that you can choose. You can choose whatever colors you want to use. You can also highlight your textbook, and both the highlights and annotations can be erased by the eraser tool. And the eraser tool erases per stroke, not per pixel. Whatever you do on your PDF with annotation tools stays on the PDF file. This selection tool works for selecting parts of your PDFs that are containing your annotations, and it allows you to adjust your annotations. Note though that the exempt tool works in this window as well. That's how I managed to create these notes in the right column. Now I'm going to show you how I use my annotation tools in the multi-PDF study space. Basically, what I do is I use my annotations to add notes to my mind map. Usually, these are notes from my research most of the time, but sometimes I do just feel like writing something out instead of highlighting it, and this feature comes in very handy. The selecting tool in this window allows me to move around the notes and also to resize them. I do wish it didn't have a fixed shape because this tool is a bit difficult to use, especially if you want to select something very precise and your notes are close together. So I feel like a more flexible one would have been more useful, but this one still works. And still on the editing window, I can add audio to my notes as a recording or as an MP3 file. You can also add photos. Hopefully soon we will be able to add videos here, and that will be a massive game changer, and I'm really looking forward to that. This application just loves tags. You can edit your comments, you can delete them, and you can rearrange them. You can share this note by adding it to Evernote, remove it as an exempt, or delete it. Removing the extraction will keep the window or node active, but if you choose to delete, it removes everything, leaving no trace. You can copy to clipboard for pasting later, and you can also copy note URL if you want to edit somewhere. And the next tool activates your one PDF window. The search tool searches through your documents and your mind map, and it also has OCR capabilities, so if you have any scanned documents, it will also be able to search through those, which is cool. So yeah, it will search through your scanned documents as well without a problem. You can also navigate your PDFs here. You have your contents page if available, thumbnails, and bookmarks. You can customize how your interface looks. I find this look is easier on the eyes. That's why I use it. Then more settings will take you to the application settings. You can choose horizontal flipping, which I won't. You guys know how much I can't stand horizontal scrolling. You can add a bookmark, crop the page. So if you don't want to have these margins on the side, you can actually crop your PDF pages. And then the last option is stop using the Apple Pencil. Never. I have also talked about managing your documents in your study space, and I'm not going to repeat that. And this brings me to the end of this video, guys. So far, if you've been struggling with Margin Note, I think this should get you started with the application, and I hope that you found the video useful. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know what other questions you have, because I feel that I will probably do one last video on Margin Note 3. That's how intense this application is. And so make sure you check out the other videos that I did, and also check out my second channel, Paperless Student Studies, a channel that focuses on paperless productivity for students. So if you're looking for motivation to study or motivation to go paperless with your studies and see exactly how I use my iPad on a day-to-day basis as a paperless student, then you want to make sure you check out that channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.